Gin Does Games.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Gin here. Welcome to another League of Legends Champion Guide. Now, normally I eat gator, but today I can make an exception. And being Cajun, I'm certainly French enough to be teaching this lesson. Yes, that's right, if you were savvy enough to follow those in-jokes, you will know that it's time to learn how to Renekton. Renekton is a melee AD caster who excels at pushing lanes, bullying opponents, and crushing squishy characters. He tends to work best as a jungler or running solo in the top lane. Renekton does not use mana and instead uses a Fury bar. Fury is built by auto-attacking or by using certain abilities to a maximum cap of 100. His abilities are free to cast, but if you have 50 Fury, they will consume it to make that ability more powerful. Note that any ability that consumes Fury will not grant you any at the same time. Basic auto attacks will give you 5 Fury each. When out of combat for 12 seconds, you will start losing 5 Fury every 2 seconds. Renekton's passive, Reign of Anger, is very simple. When Renekton is below half health, he gains 50% more Fury from anything that generates it. That's all. The Butcher of the Sand's Q is Cull the Meek. He swings his blade to deal physical damage to all enemies in a circle around him. Each enemy hit grants 5 Fury and heals him for 5% of the damage dealt, up to a cap. The heal is quadruple that if a champion is hit. If empowered by Fury, Cull the Meek deals 50% more damage, heals for 10% of damage instead of 5, and the healing cap is tripled. This is Renekton's best tool for harassment, sustaining himself, and dealing massive damage to groups. As such, I take a point in it at level 1 and max it first. Our Crocagator's W is Ruthless Predator. It causes Renekton's next attack to swing twice instead, dealing physical damage each time and stunning the target for 3/4 of a second. If empowered by Fury, Ruthless Predator will instead swing 3 times and stun the target for 1.5 seconds. Being a modified auto attack, Ruthless Predator will proc on-hit effects such as lifesteal. It will also reset your attack timer, but won't deal bonus damage to towers. As a stun, a useful tool to help your last hitting, and a high damage spell in its own right, I take a point in Ruthless Predator at level 2 or 3 and max it second. Renekton's E is a 2-part ability. The basic ability is called Slice and will cause Renekton to dash forward, dealing physical damage to targets along the way. If he does hit a target, it becomes Dice, which lets you essentially recast the spell within the next 4 seconds. Only Dice can be empowered by Fury. When it is, Renekton will deal 50% more damage and reduce their armor by a large percentage for 4 seconds. As a tool for mostly the utility of dashing, take a point in Slice and Dice at level 2 or 3 and max it last. However, if the enemy team has many members with a lot of armor, consider taking it over more points in Ruthless Predator. Slice and Dice can also dash through walls, but only very thin ones because of how short the dash is. Be very careful and learn where you can dash, or you may end up getting yourself killed. Renekton's ultimate is Dominus. For 15 seconds he becomes Godzilla, growing larger and gaining 300 to 600 health. While in this state, he deals magic damage to everything around him and gains 5 Fury each second in addition to his normal gains, as well as gaining a slightly longer range on his abilities due to his size. This is your get-out-of-jail-free card in many cases, as most people don't want to fight a Dominus-empowered Renekton. It grants a good deal of damage and quite a lot of staying power in teamfights, so take a point in it every chance you can get. For runes, I use Armor Penetration Marks, Flat Armor Seals, Magic Resistance per level glyphs, and Flat Attack Damage Quintessences. This makes for a generally tanky Crocodilian, while helping out the damage for our spells as well. For masteries, I take a 21-9-0 route, getting as much damage as possible while still staying tanky. In the defense tree, we build more health while in the lane, or more damage to minions while we are jungling. When building items with Renekton, we must keep in mind a few things. As an AD caster, not a normal AD carry, his damage comes mostly from his spells. As such, he doesn't care about critical hit chance or attack speed. He wants attack damage, armor penetration, and cooldown reduction while building health to stay beefy. To start, we will usually build Boots of Speed and 3 health potions, as this is a very safe route to take and you will always need boots. But also consider taking Cloth Armor and 5 health potions if you know your enemy in lane is heavy on the attack damage, or you think you might have some trouble while jungling. The first item you want to build is the Brutalizer. An awesome sounding name for an awesome item. It gives you attack damage, cooldown reduction, and armor penetration. Everything you want. And it has elite cost too. Our second core item will be Spirit Visage. This will give us more health and cooldown reduction, but the bonus 15% to self-healing effect is the key here. This includes the health gain from Call the Meek, Lifesteal and Ruthless Predator, and the health gain from Dominus. After that, we get better boots. Ionian Boots of Lucidity will get us all the way to 35% cooldown reduction, whereas Mercury Treads will grant us tenacity and give us an easier time in teamfights to not stay stunned forever. Both are great choices, and it's up to you. From here, you have many options on how to finish your build. Frozen Mallet grants yet more health and great sticking power as it slows enemies. Wriggle's Lantern gives greater minion and jungle clearing power, and who can say no to free wards? Maw of Malmortius grants you a ton more damage and gives you a great shield if the enemy has a lot of magic damage on the team. Bloodthirster is your go-to item for straight damage. As quickly as Renekton destroys minions, you can fill the stacks on this very easily. Don't be afraid to buy more than one if you want. Last Whisper is an important choice if your enemy is building a lot of armor. Watch out for that. Lastly, Guardian Angel will make you super tanky. You're already hard to kill, and coming back to life with your abilities back up will make you that much more of a one-croc wrecking crew. On Dominion, your build is basically the same. The only difference you need to concern yourself with is that you should get Brutalizer as your first item, along with a health potion. We'll get into that a bit more later. As for summoner spells, I prefer Exhaust and Ghost on any map. This makes locking down opponents and chasing them down even easier than it already is. Other options are the ever-popular Flash, Cleanse to break crowd control in the middle of teamfights, Teleport for covering lanes and surprise ganks, and of course you take Smite if you're the jungler. When jungling, since he has no mana, Renekton can start pretty much anywhere. He clears camps very quickly and begin ganking effectively as soon as he hits level 3. Dive in with E, stun with W, and go to town with your Q, auto attacks, and other abilities as they come up. Save dice if you can to keep chasing if they are able to start running away. In top lane, level 3 is also the part where the fun begins. Even if your opponent is ranged, like Teemo, you can still bully the heck out of him. Dive through the enemy minions with Slice, harass with Call the Meek and Ruthless Predator, and dive back out with Dice. If you do it right, you'll still get plenty of minion kills at the same time. With all this harassing, bullying, and farming you'll be doing, your lane will get pushed and your opponent will have to farm under the tower. Don't just sit there while they do. Go gank mid lane. There's no reason not to, and if you can get an extra kill out of it, all the better. Renekton's health bar is quite deceptive at times. Use this to your advantage. Call the Meek and Dominus grant you tons of health out of nowhere, making seemingly impossible fights become much easier. Remember that passing through enemies gives you a second dash. Always aim at least for minions if you can help it, be it while attacking or running away. But it's useful in teamfights as well. You can dive right through the tank and onto the squishy carries in the back, disrupting their damage flow and crushing their faces. Only crocodile tears will be shed for their passing. In Dominion, Renekton excels at bullying people in the bottom lane just as well as he does the top on Summoner's Rift. Let everyone else fight over top. You will own the bottom lane and rule it as a king. Despite what some people say, remember to push minion waves. They really do help you take down towers much faster. Clear the waves and you can crush the enemy while your minions take the tower for you. Renekton is extremely strong early game, and if you pressure the enemy hard enough and farm like a madman, you will dominate them utterly. Stay sharp, harass, 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 and
all will die.
They call me Butcher of the Sands, but they don't know how I got this way. They've never seen your arrogance, and I won't tolerate your self-important attitude. I worked with you for years and never saw a bit of gratitude. I'm here to carry out my plan. When I land the killing blow, you'll know I was the better man. You brought this upon yourself with your endless greed. There's no escape, embrace the jaws of death, it's time to bleed.
Oops, that was dumb. I messed up.
That was your fault.
It was totally my fault. I blame Nasus.